Hi, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go through 5 different makeup mistakes that I have got for you today. I do one-on-one makeup lessons with women really regularly in person here in Hong Kong and as well as online. For you guys, if you are ever interested, the details are linked down below. But these are mistakes that I often see when we are doing lessons and I'm learning about women's makeup routines, and then I'm like, okay, here's a better way to do it, or here's what you're missing, here's what you're doing wrong. So I put together 5. I could do endless videos like this, I'm sure, but this is just 5 that might help you out. Let's get started with number 1. Okay, makeup sponges, beauty blenders, whatever you want to call them. This one is from Real Techniques. I don't really use them all that much, but some of my clients do, and whenever they do, I always check in with them and ask them this sometimes life-changing question for their makeup routine is, do you wet it when you use it? Before you use it? And some say yes and some say no, and quite a lot of people say no. So if you didn't know, these are designed to be used damp and wet, and yeah, a lot of people don't. So if you're not using them wet, they are going to soak up so much of your product, and they also are just harder, and that's not how they're designed to be bounced on the skin. They need to be wet. Before you start, you're meant to run this under the tap and then rinse it out, squeeze it out, dry it off with a paper towel if you want, or just keep squeezing, but you are meant to wet them. So take a look at it now, the density of it, how it is, and I'm gonna wet it. Obviously I don't have a tap right here, but when you wet them in the water, you squeeze them. Try not to make a mess. Okay, they puff up. You squeeze it out. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There's a little bit of water on the floor, okay? Now look at it. It's a lot bigger in size, and it is also just a lot squishier and softer and nicer to pat on your face. It's not as hard. It feels nicer, and this is how you're meant to apply it. Really, like, you're meant to really string it out. If you were to use this, I would do it a few minutes before you're about to do your makeup, or like squeeze it then in a hand towel afterwards to just get the last bit out. But you need to saturate them and dry them out, squeeze them out really well. And this is going to soak up so much less of your foundation or your concealer. It's not going to absorb it all because it's already damp and wet, and more of it will be on your face, and you will not be going in with like multiple pumps because it's not giving you any makeup on the face because it's all going inside your sponge. So it saves you money, the application looks nicer, it'll be quicker, and it's just how they're designed to be used. So comment down below if you use one. Do you use it wet or dry? Because hopefully going forward you're going to be using it wet. Number 2 is nude or light lipsticks. You've bought some, you tried it on, and you don't like the way it looks. You feel dead and washed out and like your lips have disappeared. Well, that can be a different look, but if you're not enjoying that look, please try lining your lips before you go in with your light color nude lipstick. I am really loving this one coming up into summer, that soft summer look. This is Live It Up Charlotte Tilbury. It's like a baby pink, but I wouldn't wear it by itself, but let me just show it to you by itself. So this is the lipstick by itself. It's really nice. I like it. I would wear it like this. But if I just wanted a little bit more sculpt and oomph and not so washed out, faded out, we put a lip liner on first, or a lip stain, some type of darker base color. Okay, so I have lip liner on, and then we're gonna go in with the same lipstick. I think that makes all the difference to the lipstick. It's framed, it's more defined, but you're still getting that soft baby pink coming through. I promise, if you have like bought a lipstick on a recommendation, you've seen it on somebody, take a look. If you look closer at the look, there probably is a lip liner or some shading around that nude lipstick before, and you haven't like done all the steps to it. You've just bought the nude lipstick that they kind of finished off the center with, put it all over your lips, and wondering why it doesn't look quite as great. It could be because you're not first going in with a darker lip liner. Number 3 is you really hate using powder, setting powder, loose powder, whatever it is. you don't like using it, you think it looks too much, too heavy, it could be because you are using a huge brush, a kabuki brush, a big brush, and you're going in all over your face, all the areas of the face with the powder. That's not the best way to do it. That's a little bit too much. Let's do pinpoint setting with a small setting brush like this. I can link this one down below, something similar as well. And these small brushes allow you to pick up the powder, tap off the excess, and just set where you want setting to be happening. The T-zone is where we all need it. The chin, around the nose, under the eyes, center of the forehead, over the eyelids if you want. And this small brush allows us to then leave the outskirts of the face to be natural, to be the satin finish that we want, just a normal finish. That's what it does. So try using a smaller brush to put your powders on, and you might be able to then use less powder overall and just focus the powder where you truly need the setting aspect of powder. Number 4 is you're not pre-blending your brush, okay? This will help you so much with blush and bronzer application. You're going straight in with your brush straight to face. This is going to leave like a stamp-like shape on the face, and then you're going to have to work harder to blend it out. So always try to remember to either push it into the mirror if you're not using it, or blend it on your hand like this, so it gets diffused really nicely on the blush, and then it's gonna come out so much nicer. So you take it, pre-blend it, and then pat it on. I needed some blush. It'll come out nicer, more gently, more softer, and not just a big stamp on your face. And this is also very useful for bronzer as well. Can also be for eyeshadow, especially if you're using quite a dark eyeshadow color. Tapping it into the brush, and it's what we call pre-blending with the brush. Very pretty. Number 5, our last one, and this is more for when you've like done a real extra makeup look, you're wearing something with quite a lot of décolleté showing, and this is not bringing the texture and the undertones of your face down to your body, or vice versa. Actually, I see this often on like makeup artists posts and videos of their clients, or not even that, just girls showing themselves getting ready, going out, and you've done a really it could be either way. So you've done a really shiny, glass skin, glowy makeup look with like loads of highlighter and everything, and then your chest is like left really bare and there's no glow on your chest. So in that case, you want to make sure you take a bit of your highlighter and pop it on your collarbones, just dust it really lightly and make the texture the same so there's not a disconnect. I think that's where the issue is, when there's a disconnect. The same if you go in the other way. If you've got a really beautiful matte makeup look, cloud-like skin, really perfected and matte, and then only just like tiny bits of highlighters, that's still like overall quite matte. And then you've gone in with the body oil and just like loads of body oil, and then your face is really like perfect and matte. It's a disconnect. It's a little bit overkill. So I would like maybe dull down, less body oil, or add a bit more shine on the face, a bit of a setting mist with glow, something like that, to bring uniform, bring harmony to the look. The same with undertones. If you have like a spray tan and you've got a real like olivey complexion, and you do a foundation, a really full intense makeup look with a really pinky, rosy, light colored base, it's not going to be connected. Again, if you have like gone in more bronzy on the face, you're bronzing up, loads of bronzer, and with no spray tan, really pale here, and which is fine if your clothes are coming up higher, but if it's not, if you're going to be seeing this, there's a disconnect. So you need to add some bronzer. So just take some of your makeup bronzer and just dust it over here, or your body oil that has a little bit of a tint to it. It's really nice. There's one from Sol de Janeiro. I absolutely love that one. I will leave that linked down below. I have that in my kit. It smells amazing and it's just so beautiful on the skin. I use that on my clients. That's a lovely one. They have a lighter shade and a darker shade. So yeah, if you haven't got a spray tan, but you went a bit bronze, you need to reduce the disconnection. That's all I'm saying. Because I see it sometimes on photos online. Often it really helps to take a few photos before you go out, take a few selfies, and just like have a look, analyze everything as a whole, like as one look, not like a little detail every bit. It's like one look, and make sure everything is like flowing nicely. Those are my tips. Those are my 5 mistakes that I often see around in person, online, with my clients, things like that. Information for the one-on-one online private makeup lessons are linked down below. I would love to get on a call with you and chat about your makeup routines, do your makeup routine together, and that way I can identify where things are going wrong and what needs a little bit of improvement, and it's just a great time together. And yeah, consider subscribing to the channel, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye.